It's a lot of paperwork.
I know. I got a souvenir one too.
Did you? All your reports. I bet you didn't get nice green paper.
No. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Environmental Service Committee meeting. It's Thursday, April the 4th, 2024. This meeting will be streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. I would ask those in attendance to ensure that your communication devices are shut off or put on vibrate. To those of you that are joining with us at home, I would welcome you. I would ask committee members to, if they have a declaration of a pecuniary interest, to please declare it at the appropriate time. Ms. King, do we have any delegation this evening? Delegation. Okay. Go to item number 4 on the agenda. A motion by Councillor Wolbett and Councillor Bojan. Are you okay to second this motion?
Yep.
Okay, moved by Councillor Wolbett, seconded by Councillor Bojan, that the minutes be adopted by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Service Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed sessions of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That would be our Environmental Service Committee meeting minutes of March the 7th, 2024. The committee, is there any questions? Anything from you, Councillor Bojan?
The only question I had in there was and I'll bring up a new business as well, but I remember Councillor Wolbett bringing up something about the water meter readings not being accurate, and I just don't see any of that conversation in the minutes.
Okay, we're going to bring that up under new business if you're okay with that.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Okay, Councillor Wolbett, anything for you?
No, sir.
All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Okay, let's go to item number 5. I have all that business arising from previous meetings. Who's going to do the verbal update on the meter replacement? Mr. De Silva, will you do that?
Yes, through the
Okay.
chair. I just want to inform the committee that the project is moving along nicely. We have engaged with Neptune, had a pre-construction meeting. And we're planning on sending out letters within the next week or so, and starting the project up by the end of April. So I just wanted to provide everyone with an update that the affected residents will be receiving some correspondence here shortly.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Councillor Wolbett?
We're having some problems getting people to get back to you and stuff to be able to get in and install those meters. Is that pretty well smoothed out then?
Through the chair, so this is to deal with some of the outstanding accounts, the pit meters. There was over 200 of those, and some of the soft refusals, so basically people not getting back to us. So at the previous committee meeting, I had brought forth some sample correspondence that we're going to be sending that was approved here. So that's going to be going out first from the town, and then 3 letters will be sent by Neptune, an initial letter, follow up, and then a final letter. So we're hoping that this time we're going to get 100% buy-in to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Councillor Bojan, any questions from you?
Nothing from you, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. De Silva. Okay, let's go to item number 6. I have a motion by Councillor Bojan, seconded by Councillor Wolbett. The accounts be listed as be received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee. That would be our Plympton-Wyoming water list as of February the 2024, $181,640.36. Plympton-Wyoming sewer list as of February 2024, $121,036.20. Plympton-Wyoming water list as of March 2024 for $84,511.45. And the Plympton-Wyoming sewer list as of March the 2024 for $104,923.34. Committee, you've had a chance to review that. Counselor Bojan, any questions on that?
I had nothing on those two, thank you.
Any Counselor Wolvette?
Just one question, ACOM, up to Wyoming Water and Sewer there, $9,034 for hydraulic analysis. Can somebody,
Which month would that be, Counselor?
pardon me,
Which month is that in?
that is in February.
Okay,
Before, that's about, 3 down from the top.
all right.
Uh, What is that? Does that entail? Anybody?
Yeah, Mr. De Silva?
Yeah, through the chair. So that was the peer review that was performed for the Broadway Street subdivision. So that is an in and out. So we paid it and it will be billed back to the developer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's coming back in. Eh?
It's coming back in, yeah.
Thank you.
No further questions. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Bojan, you good?
Yep.
Very good. Okay, staff reports, item 7. 7, let's go to 7.1. Silva, we have a motion by Counselor Wolvette, seconded by Counselor Bojan, that the report prepared by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated March 26, 2024, regarding the below noted wastewater system reports be received as information and filed appropriately. Be our 2023 annual report, Plympton Lakeshore Area Sewage Treatment Plant, 2023 annual report of the Wyoming Sewage Treatment Plant, and the 2023 annual report for Plympton-Wyoming Sewage Collection System. Committee, you've had an opportunity to review that. Mr. De Silva, anything to add to your report on that?
No, nothing to add, just that these are legislative requirements and we receive these around the same time every year and they get brought forward to the committee for review and comment.
Okay, Councilor Wolvette, anything from you?
Maybe just one comment, keep approving subdivisions, and I know we've asked this question before, and I know there's been studies done, but are we still in good shape with both plants as far as capacity goes? I mean, we just approved another 114 house subdivision here just in the last council, so are we in pretty good shape there, or like?
Yeah, through the chair, I would say for the time being, we are in good shape, although we do have a wastewater master plan that includes some capacity increases. For example, the Plympton Headworks project is going to increase capacity at that plant because there's a bottleneck in the headworks portion of the plant. So for the time being, all new subdivisions get hydraulically modeled to confirm capacity, not just in the collection system and conveyance system, but also at the wastewater treatment plants. So I would say for the time being, yes, we do have capacity, but we do have long-term plans in place to increase capacity so that we can continue to develop in this municipality.
The reason I do ask the question is just recently is this week, the federal government has coming out with some pretty big grant money to municipalities, and as I seen in there, it specifically talks about sewer and water in order for expansion. So, if we're not in good shape, maybe some would be able to apply for some of that money.
Yeah, if I may through the chair, just to provide an update on that, we are applying for the Housing Enabled Water Systems Fund. $4 million for our Plympton Headworks upgrades project. So the deadline is April 19th, but we're working through it. It's quite an extensive application process. So it's taking a considerable amount of time, but we are working through it. We will have it applied for by the deadline.
Sure.
Thank you. Councilor Bojan?
No, that's all I had was asking about that grant, so that's good. That's good to hear.
Okay. Okay, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Yep.
Period. Okay, let's go to 7.2 drinking water reports. I have a motion by Councilor Bojan, second by Councilor Wolvette, that the report prepared by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated March 26, 2024, regarding the below noted drinking water reports be received as information and filed appropriately. That would be our 2023 annual report for Plympton-Wyoming Water Distribution System. 2023 summary report, the Plympton-Wyoming Water Distribution System. The 2023 annual report of Lambton Area Water Supply System. The 2023 summary report of Lambton Area Water Supply System. Anything to add to that, Mr. De Silva?
Not at this time.
Okay, Councillor Bojan, any questions from you?
Thank you, Your Worship. The only one I had was just really, obviously, there's a lot of information in this report and the last report. Was just from Mr. De Silva's perspective, is there anything that is new or that we should be concerned about in terms of anything else that we've already been planning for with our long-term plan and for the water system? Or is everything kind of on course and where it's supposed to be?
Silva?
Yeah, through the chair, I would say everything is, on plan. We are currently updating our distribution master plan with AECOM. So we will have a new list of 10-year capital priority projects. We're looking to have that done, endorsed by this committee probably by September of this year. So there'll probably be more to report on that at a later time. But no, I've read through this. There's nothing that sticks out.
Okay, thank you. That's everything.
Councillor Wolbeth?
The only comments I would make on this one is, and certainly been asked here before, the water distribution system, we still have lots of dead areas in Plympton-Wyoming that does not have water. For example, Eberhard, no water. And it hasn't been out there, the schools out there and everything, mind you, that's all gonna change. They'll be moving to forest, and I think Douglas Line too, as a matter of fact, I was trying to look along Douglas Line there in the last few days to look at hydrants. I see no water along Douglas neither. So I'm not sure what areas has it and what don't, but I think it's something that this day and age that we should be looking at, and we are at a master plan for distribution. And I mentioned the same thing several times about natural gas too. So in our rural areas, so I just think that when we're talking master plan and distribution, we should look at all the areas that don't have water and consider them.
Yeah, if I may, through the chair. I mean, that's an appropriate exercise to perform during a master plan. I will note that the master plan will identify areas where we could have grid reinforcement, add redundancy to the system. That's not going to include every road, unfortunately, right? It's just going to include roads where we can reinforce the system. If anyone wants to have water, they have the ability to talk to staff to look at ways that can be provided. Normally in the past that was done as a local improvement. So everyone would kind of pay their fair share. So typically, let's say you had a block with 10 residents, they would put together a petition, it would come to staff, we would review it, and we provide a recommendation to council on how to move forward and what the probable costs would be. So I think that's probably a decision that we would have to make in the future, how we wanted to handle that, but that's typically the process for requesting new water.
Yeah, I just think that, well, if we're gonna do a master plan, I think it's something, and I don't disagree with you, what you're saying there is that, but we should at least let people know that there is a way, like for instance, if they wanted water along Eberhard line, how they could do it, especially during side to, expand the distribution system or what, that there is an option there for them, because, things go bad and you don't have water, there's nothing more important. So I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we need to let people know that option is there at the time when we review this or when the master plan.
Yeah, I agree, and I would encourage anybody that's looking to have water extended or looped to contact staff, and we can go over the options with them.
Okay.
Anything else, Councillor?
Sure.
Okay, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Carried. Okay, item 8, bylaws. Nothing to add to that, Ms. King?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay, let's go to item 9.1. The Lambton Area Water Supply System meeting minutes and reports. I have a motion by Councillor Wolbeth, seconded by Councillor Bojan. that the minutes from the laws meeting be received on February 29th, 2024. Any questions on that? Councillor Wolbett?
No, sir.
Councillor Bojan?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Yep.
Carried. Item 10, correspondence. Ms. King, anything added to that? Okay. Okay, let's go to item 11, correspondence, recommended reading and routine approval information items. I have a motion by Councillor Bojan, seconded by Councillor Wolfett, that the correspondence items related to recommended reading and routine approval and information items not otherwise addressed by resolution be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Service Committee and filed accordingly. That would be our Jacobs monthly report, February 2024. We do have some Jacobs representatives with us here in case there's questions. Councillor Bojan, anything from you?
Nothing for me on that one, thank you.
Yeah, it's just another comment. Our capacity during storms, this is something that we had discussed in the past about too much water getting into the waste treatment plants and stuff like that. Where is that at? And people's sump pumps and stuff like that. Where are we at? That kind of thing. At one time, we were going to start having a look at where some of these sump pumps and that were going. I don't know if any of that ever happened, or I know there's repairs done to caps and stuff that were leaking, and like, there was a big deal there a couple of years back, so I wonder where that's at.
I could speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
this,
like to hear Joe talk, but
That's what I'm trying.
they can certainly add to whatever I have to say. I mean, I could speak to this issue for about a half an hour because it's multifaceted. There's a lot of mitigation strategies that we could employ. It's time and it's effort and it's money. We did, if you look at the most recent budget, there was $100,000 that was set aside for inflow and infiltration mitigation. It is on my list of things to do to look at very carefully, specifically in areas where there seems to be a higher level of risk. So we would kind of try to concentrate on certain areas where we seem to be receiving the most amount of inflow. Council, I think it was last year, approved a sump pump disconnect program. Where there's a subsidy involved. I believe it's up to $3,000. And we've seen, if you look at the most recent payables, I think there was two on there. So we have seen a bit of an uptick, sorry, on those. But it is on my list of things to do to create a strategy around inflow and infiltration. And then that's probably going to include inspections, right? Because a lot of this stuff is coming from inside the house. So a lot of sump pumps are connected to sanitary services and it completely inundates the system. So the most proactive way is to do inspections of every residence. But as you can imagine, that's quite a task. And administratively, it's difficult too, because you have to create appointments. You know, we're doing it with the water meter program as well, right? And we're noticing the challenges there. But we'll continue to plug away at that, and hopefully we'll have something, you know, towards the latter stages of this year with a program that can be endorsed by this committee. And I know that Jacobs has been doing stuff like putting bladders into manholes. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Chair, if I may, as we see them, you know, we fix them. But again, it's difficult for the operators to really see a lot of these things because, like Paul said, they're in homes. But we did smoke testing in 2021, I believe, and there were several spots where they were missing some clean out caps, and those have been taken care of. So as the issues arise, we try and take care of them as best and as fast as we can. For example, there was a home on Erie Street that had two homes beside one another that had both their sump pumps plumbed into the same sanitary line in the yard. So even if you had gone in to do an inspection, you saw a separate sump pump line leave the home. But that sump pump line in the front yard was connected to. And that was just a random find, so. And we fixed that problem at the time, so.
Well, and we know it's important because when we come to upgrade these sewage treatment plants and all this water is being dumped, that takes capacity out of the plant. So, yeah, I know it has to be done slowly, but I know we've been moving slowly ahead on it, and there have been a lot of corrections done with gaps and so on and so forth. So, and smoke testing and stuff. That's why I'm not pushing to have.
It's a priority for staff.
Thank you.
Anything else on that one? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Alex, you good?
Yep.
Okay, we're going at number. Well, you have a couple items and I know Councillor Bulgin one as well, so.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair, I just wanted to update the committee on a few things. The first one is the Confederation Line reconstruction project. That project will be starting on April 22nd, which is pretty aggressive in terms of timeline. So there's a lot of moving parts, but everyone is, everyone's on board and we'll be conducting a public meeting with the affected residents within the next couple of weeks prior to the project commencing. So just wanted to update the committee on that. And secondly, we finally got dates for yard waste collection from Marcotte. So that'll take place starting April 8th and continue on until May the 17th. On Mondays in former Plympton and on Fridays in the village of Wyoming. And hopefully next year we'll get the dates a little bit further in advance so we can include them in the spring newsletter. But we'll be placing that information on our website for residents and informing them if they call.
So when was Wyoming again?
Fridays.
Fridays, okay. Councillor Bulgin, any questions on that one? Yes.
Yeah, so just to clarify, so for Mondays in Plympton, for example, is it like a garbage day where you need to have that out for pickup at a certain time?
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, it has to be out by a certain time and it needs to be less than 33 pounds and in appropriate containers or paper bags.
Okay, thank you.
By 7 a.m.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else on that, Alex?
Not on that item, nope.
Okay. Councillor Wolvet, any question on that?
No, sir.
Okay. Are those your two items?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Councillor Bulgin, you had a question concerning the water billing. And I know Councillor Wolvet has that as well, because we've been talking about it before we went live on air. Feel free to ask your question there now.
Yeah, I can always pass it over to Councillor Wolvet then because I remembered him mentioning that last month. And then of course there's been some chatter about the bills that did go out and some confusion about that. So if Councillor Wolvet wants to clarify his question, my main question was I thought that we were sending a letter out with an explanation of the issue to try to help dispel any confusion. So I'm just wondering if a letter did go out or if that didn't end up happening with that most recent bill.
Okay, before I go to Councillor Webb, do you want to answer this one, Mr. De Silva, please?
Sure, through the chair. Yes, you're correct. That was discussed. I believe it was 2 months ago. It might have been discussed at the February committee meeting. This has been an evolving issue, the extent of which has only been recently realized, how many customers it did affect. There was the suggestion of putting out a letter at the time. I made the call because we could not, unless we went through every single account, it's about 3,500 accounts, determine exactly who it affected. So we would have had to have sent out essentially 3,500 letters, and I thought that it would add some additional confusion because everyone would think that their bill was incorrect when that's not the case. With the benefit of hindsight, I realized that that might not have been the best decision, so I apologize to the residents for that. We continue to handle customer complaints on a case-by-case basis. Generally speaking, people are understanding, but understandably, some people aren't. And what I will say is that if people are having difficulty with the increased bill that they received, to please give us a call. We'll be happy to work with them on some type of arrangement.
I think that's very commendable because I know we have a lot of residents out there that have expressed personal concerns, not only to myself, but the rest of council as well. So does that answer your question, Councillor Bojan?
Yeah, that does. And then I guess, Paul, is if anyone comes to us or anyone else comes to us, calling just the office is the best option for them.
That's right. And we did this morning put something on the website and on Facebook advising the residents. Hopefully some people do see it. And you know, it's a little bit late, but maybe perhaps better late than never.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Yep, that answers my question. Thank you.
Councillor Wolvet, anything from you?
Yeah, I don't have a lot more to add to that. I know I brought my own bill here to question it, but I think just to summarize it up, you know, my bill was incorrect, reading low readings at first, but on this particular bill that just came out, it was corrected. My concern, wasn't a concern, but my question was, these numbers at the bottom, the new numbers that came out for this bill, because it says actual reading, are those didn't look like my normal numbers that we normally get in our home. So though that number there, especially on the consumption, that number is the corrected number. In other words, it included the low number that I got for 3 months. So when the next bill comes out, and this is an important point, you should see your actual numbers on your reading. You should see your actual numbers. So even though these show high, our numbers are normally around 35, and they'll probably be back to that on the next bill. So people are going to see this bill and say, "Oh my goodness, I didn't use all that water." Well, no, that's your corrected numbers on the bills where the errors were. So bear with the town, and the next bill should be straightened out from what I've been told. That's all I have. A good explanation, Paul.
Thank you, Councillor Wolvet. Anything else under new business? Anything from Jacobs? No,
Not at this time.
Ms. King? Our treasurer? Silva?
Nothing from me.
Okay. All right, so I have a motion. We'll go to item 13.1. I have a motion by Councillor Wolvet, seconded by Councillor Bojan, that the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Service Committee regular meeting be adjourned until the next regular meeting be held on May the 2nd, 2024 at 5 p.m. All those in favor? Bojan, good. That's carried. This meeting is adjourned. Councillor Bojan, thank you for joining with us virtually.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for chairing, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
On the upswing now.
He looks good. He looks good.
I put on a